Claudius was the fourth Roman emperor, ruling from 41 to 54 AD, and was the first Roman emperor to be born outside Italy. He was born at Lugdunum, modern-day Lyon, and had two older siblings, Germanicus and Livilla. His mother was Antonia Minor, had two other children who died young. Claudius' maternal grandparents were Mark Antony and Octavia Minor, Augustus' sister, and he is great-great-grandnephew of Julius Caesar. In 9 BC, Claudius' father Drusus unexpectedly died on campaign in Germania, possibly from illness. Claudius had always been thought of as being dim-witted. His own mother Antonia referred to him as a monster, which is the reason why some believe he remained alive as long as he did. The imperial family seems to have considered him something of an embarrassment, and he was long left to his private studies and amusements. Since he had few responsibilities, Claudius spent his free time reading and writing histories. This idleness led to a reputation for drunkenness and gambling. In 41 AD, Caligula was assassinated in a conspiracy involving Cassius Chaerea, a military tribune in the Praetorian Guard and severed senators. After the deaths of Caligula's wife and daughter, it became clear that Cassius intended to wipe out the imperial family. Power came to Claudius unexpectedly, after Praetorian Guard found him hiding behind the curtain, and suddenly declaring the emperor. Although not the preferred choice of the Roman Senate, Claudius proved to be an efficient emperor. His first act was to execute Cassius and his co-conspirators, the assassins of Caligula. He brought relative peace of Rome, with the restoration of the rule of law. He abolished the treason trials of Caligula, and expanded the empire further into the Middle East and the Balkans. Claudius restored the status of the peaceful imperial Roman provinces of Macedonia and Achaea, as senatorial provinces. Under Claudius, the empire underwent its first major expansion. The provinces of Thrace, Norsium, Lycia and Judea were annexed under his term. In 43, Claudius sent Aulus Plautius with 4 legions to Britain. In search for military glory, Claudius personally led his army, where he reduced much of the island into submission. Britain was an attractive target for Rome, because of its wealth, mines and slaves, as well as an asylum for Gallic rebels. The Senate granted him a triumph for his efforts. He was granted the honorific Britannicus, but only accepted it on behalf of his son, never using the title himself. Claudius embarked on many public works throughout his reign, both in capital and in the provinces. Throughout Italy, he built roads and canals. Several coup attempts were made during Claudius' reign, resulting in the deaths of many senators. Appius Silanus was executed in Claudius' reign. Claudius was extraordinarily fond of games. He is said to have risen with the crowd after gladiatorial matches, and give praises to the fighters. Claudius married 4 times, after 2 failed betrothals. The first betrothal was to his distant cousin, Aemilia Lepida, and the second was to Livia Medulina, which ended with death on their wedding day. Some years after, Claudius married Valeria Messalina, who was the first cousin, and closely allied with Caligula's circle. She gave birth to a daughter named Claudia Octavia, and a son named Tiberius Claudius Germanicus, later known as Britannicus. This marriage ended in tragedy. Messalina was a nymphomaniac, who was regularly unfaithful to Claudius, and manipulated his policies for mass wealth. Messalina married her lover Gaius Silius in a public ceremony, while Claudius was at Ostia. They planned to kill Claudius, and place Britannicus on the throne. The plot was spoiled. Claudius was given Messalina the opportunity to commit suicide. She failed, and so was stabbed to death. Claudius did marry once more. Agrippina the Younger was something he regretted shortly after exchanging vows. The manipulative Agrippina was intent on having her son Nero named the next emperor of Rome. So, Nero was married to Claudius' daughter Octavia, made joint heir with Britannicus. Claudius died shortly after eating poisoned mushrooms that were given to him by his wife. As Agrippina wished, Nero ascended to the throne of the empire, and a new era of depravity and corruption began. Claudius' ashes were interred in the mausoleum of Augustus, after a funeral similar to that of his great-uncle Augustus.